not just outside of our borders. Take a look. Here's Cut 6, RFK Jr. yesterday.
Make sure we're going live over here. All right, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to whoever, wherever you are. Pause, you stupid thing. Oh my gosh. Someday. So I can hear this. Oh. Am I recording sound? It's not looking like it. Okay, it says it's picking it up. I don't hear it coming out of the PC though. Let's see, are we turned down here? Oh yeah, it's turned all the way down there. That would be why. All right. So, got sound, got lights, camera, action. There we go. All right, welcome to Darth Grumpy Dad Games Twitch stream. Still on D4 again here. Yesterday about an hour, a little more or something. Streamed and then went home. Done, had IRL stuff to do and got on and played with some friends. Mostly just getting their characters to 60, and they hopped off. And I was just too tired to jump in stream, but I still wanted to grind a little. So I went and killed this boss down here. Yeah, we're down here. Killed the vampire boss guy. And fortunately, the very first time I killed him, because I've killed him like 4 or 5 times before. And so fortunately, this go around, he dropped Kasimi's Legacy here. Kasimi's Kiss, right? God's Kiss pants. Because these fucking pants are like God's Kiss. The moment you have these pants, this build is freaking devastating. It went from, doing all right to T2 and T2, to as soon as I got those, and I got some Masterworks on them, I'm in T4 now. I'm in T4. I still get clapped once in a while. I'm not saying I don't, right? Because I'm still, only at like 130, and turn this back on. But skip forward.
There were a lot of good people who were in the office yesterday, not just RFK Jr.
Listening to Vince here. Let's see, what is it?
Yesterday, Cut 3 said this is.
Yeah, it just says Vince. It's on Rumble. He's live right now, waiting for Louder with Crowder to come on. I'll listen to that and maybe Tim Pool. We'll see. But I can turn this down a little for now. So I'm just grinding. All right, so yeah, I got those pants and was almost immediately able to get myself into T4. Right, just banged them out. And I went back down to Torment 1 and was easily able to get this from the hatred guy, right? Yeah. So now I just need to finish leveling up this one and this one to 20, right? And I'm doing all right in open world. No, bro, I don't know who you are, but I ain't.
Greetings.
Get the fuck out of here. That's not happening. I don't want to trade show with you.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I don't know who you are. That's nice. I'm out. You're here. I don't care. I don't know who the fuck this. Like I really don't like. I don't really don't play with randos very well. I don't. Right? I just don't. Like, just... All right. So, where was I? Running away from people because I'm like that. Fuck people. I got my friends I play with, and occasionally I'll play with someone I don't know, but I'm just not. All right, what am I looking for? Oh, yes. So that gave me the ability to go kill this guy, right? But I didn't have any abhorrent heart, so I couldn't open his chest, which kind of bummed me out. I've got 2 now. I traded up for them. I'm not 100% where you even get the abhorrent hearts, right? Like I beat him, but I didn't have the abhorrent hearts, so. My guess is you just make them with Stygian stones is the main thing. So. All right. We'll find a fucking. Go here. We'll go to the tree. Get rid of the stuff I'm carrying. We'll probably just go do some Belial events. Let's see, Umbra, Hungry. Don't need either one of those. All right. Yeah, because that's it. I can either level up these, or I can go get obvious sight. I think I'll just go do the obvious sight for now, or not the obvious sight. Go do those events. The apparition events. Keep an eye out for the world boss. See, which is in an hour and 3 minutes. We got a world boss. And hopefully it's not the stinking avarice again. Like, hopefully it changes like every... Get where I'm going. Get to getting where the freak is the event. There it is.
But this is a critical national security issue. We are depending on our signature adversary for the well-being of our country? What? So China's buying up American farmland? China's controlling access to... Yeah,
they're buying up farmland in states that grow marijuana. Got this huge marijuana farmland. It's crazy. So they sneak all these illegals in, men across the border. Oh wow, I get that
Methods
right
are
from
for naught, mortals.
to work on these marijuana farms, and then they smuggle in a bunch of. Whoa! See, I still get cracked. I still get cracked. NT4 kill. That's a bonus as far as I'm concerned.
We're gonna be there. We're gonna do an inspection. We'll do that in the United States. Surprise inspection of American manufacturing. Why are we treating drug manufacturers overseas better than we're treating American drug manufacturers? Take a look. Cut 9. Here's Marty McCary.
Oh, Jesus. Yep, yep. I definitely need a bit more armor. Oh, this might help. Do that. Oh, fuck you. Okay. Get the fuck out. Get off my bed, man.
You're ready for them to show up so you can hide everything. It's like kind of the ridiculous weapons inspections that the UN pretends to do. Oh, we're coming in to see if you're working on your nuclear weapons. When are you coming in? Oh, from now. Okay, thanks for letting us know. Can't wait to see you. The train's ready. It's time to move everything.
Nobody else out here. There's nobody else out here. It's kind of weird. That's the clock
Call
now.
your senator. Get Ed Martin through the United States Senate. It's essential to the president's agenda, and it's essential to the well-being of the country. Tomorrow on the program, so much more to tell you, including any updates on whether or not hotels will come through. Thanks for calling. Appreciate you being here. I'll be live later, rumble.com/events. For the Vid Show, our nationwide on radio stations everywhere. Next on Rumble.
Back this way. Whoops, right into a. That's what I get for navigating by the mini map.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear. Right there on Dev Street. We're gonna take over Canada, South America, and the rest of the Western Hemisphere and make one big beautiful continent called America. The Atlantic Ocean will now be known as
Here
the
now.
American Ocean.
Hope I can kill the boss when he spawns in. Okay. Nightmare on Dem Street. tyranny. Jesus. Yeah, I don't believe I'm the only one on it. Maybe I should have see if I can get this boss here. Dying. Probably won't kick my ass. Diablo thing. I'm gonna fail this freaking thing at this rate. Blood orbs picked up. Okay. Got it. Just barely. Oh shit! Oh man! I tell you what, you know what that was?
Your insolence is at an end.
Nice still almost died. Yeah. Well, I'm in T4. Alright. Get the fuck out of here. Just trying to get the fuck out, man. You need to go to the tree. You need to go to the tree, bro. Probably should set that. I've got Kirgar set as home favorite right now. But I think I'm going to set it here for a bit. Come on. There we go. Silly thing. Repair. See what I get.
It is done.
Greater rings.
Different, this one.
Maybe. I'm thinking that was kind of harsh. So I'm thinking that maybe. Oh, nice. These headphones are crackling. Hopefully that's not coming. Oh, parts there too. Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Oh, do this. All right, to my fine chatters who have not chatted with me, and anyone watching. Let's see. Put my pew-pews in the chat. There we go. And once again, I'd like to thank anybody who watches this now or later. Thank you very much. Thank you. If you follow me here, you follow me, subscribe over on YouTube and watch my shows later there. Thank you very much. What the fuck is going on with this? Why did it drop out? My other thing is my brain is cracked and I need sound in the background.
Here's a quick way to shrink mouth wrinkles and make them vanish for good. Mouth wrinkles aren't permanent.
Like I said, I generally listen to stuff that's live because anything that's live like this, generally, unless it's a members only broadcast, is going to be free use. So it's pretty. All right, hop over.
Which you can join, by the way, for $99 annually or $9.99 a month. You click that button right below. If you think that this is a crap show, we have more for you.
See what we got going
And you
here.
get everything ad-free. Hey, crap show, a crap shoot. Yeah, I guess. A crap show.
Hey, I love
See what our next board is going to be here. Our next board is Frailty.
Hey, last can't drink down here. What's
Hey, fool, mind your business, is it?
I would like to preview. Oh, whoops. Let's try this again.
Is beer dirty in my hood? Fool?
Frailty. And it should go.
Look at
that?
Mr.
Okay,
Drinker
so-
here. Oh, dang, I like to party, Steven.
Yeah.
Boom.
I see you at I see you at Quick Trip like every day at 4 o'clock. I set my watch to it.
Yeah, well, I gave your mom a quick trip.
Hey.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boards. Nice, 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 very nice. We just need to get here, and I'm pretty sure I already have some points in Dominate. Yep, which is the last one.
And judge whether or not this is an important pronouncement or a brain-fogging digression.
President Trump shared an
That's
AI-generated image
that.
of himself depicted as the Pope on social media yesterday.
The only people that are mad at Donald Trump for doing that are people who didn't vote for him.
You can still use these.
Like,
It's okay.
seriously,
Don't
the
ruin all
Catholics
that
who
work.
voted for him understand it was a joke. They freaking get it. They're not. Right.
It's funny. It's just a troll. It's not hurting anybody. I mean, Trump wasn't going to heaven anyway, so it's not like it's gonna...
That's dude, and then that. Dude doesn't even believe he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in heaven. Like, he's a materialist. He believes everything about you and I, what we are, is nothing more than the stuff we're made of. The atoms and the molecules. Right? There's nothing else. There's nothing else but beyond that in this guy's worldview. So, like,
Yes, ma'am.
blood blister. Should be fine with that one, but
Oh, I see. You mean
we'll put that one in there for later.
joke. You don't mean the Catholics, you mean the fake news media. Not the Catholics.
Catholics are mad, yeah.
I had
Okay,
nothing
let's
to
see,
do with
this
it.
is
Somebody made up a picture of me
wave
dressed
cap
like the
8,
Pope,
wave
and they
cap
put it out on
10,
the internet.
wave
That's not
cap
me that did it. I
6.
have no idea where it came from. Maybe it was AI.
Maybe I'll save some of these for now, right?
Last evening. Actually, my wife thought it was cute. She said,
Try later. Try and get some mats when I need more mats. Well, gem fragments mostly. Get gem fragments.
to the best of my knowledge, popes aren't big on getting married, are they? Not the way. And I fake news media.
Get rid of that.
The fakers.
And we'll just, I'll just farm some nightmare risks. Get that done. Right? Hop back over here.
Give me a break. It was just somebody did it in fun. It's fine.
We will get
Have a little fun, don't you?
these all leveled up as far as we can before we go back out, because you know, getting cracked by stupid easy stuff is that's not fun. Not fun. And like these, most of these aren't like really super good, right? So I'm just gonna level them up, and when I get better ones, right, that are close to the proper affixes, right, because I got the proper aspects on everything. When I get to the point where I've got proper affixes, like, you know, intelligence, poison, all that stuff on these, get some ones that are closer in line, and get all the proper, you know, the crowd control. That's not proper. Like, it's supposed to be, I believe it's supposed to be overpower damage and armor, I believe, on that piece that I'm supposed to have. Take a quick look here. Build variants.
I didn't see a lot of outrage from Catholics.
Ancestral.
That's because there wasn't any. No, they manufactured a bunch of outrage.
Yeah,
where there's
supposed to be
never
blood,
any-
overpower damage. Oh, and crowd control. Oh, okay. So that was proper then. It's just it's got blood damage instead of blood overpower. So I'll need to get a different one of those sooner or later. And I know a couple of these didn't roll the whatever they're called very well, the master or the not the masterworks. Well, some of those aren't very good either. But my tempers. So
Unreal. Go, take a note from Trump's book. Go. If she looks like Melania.
Nice. That's a good idea. Yeah. That's a fine Ina, dude.
Come on. Wait, you've been-
oh, Andrew Wilson is on. Jesus fucking Andrew Wilson is on. Hey guys, like,
He's okay with it.
fuck. Andrew Wilson is on. So like, if you watch this later, go to Rumble, watch Louder with Crowder. Andrew Wilson is on. I didn't realize that was Andrew Wilson because I was, you know, I looked down and say, oh my god, like Andrew is pretty much my favorite thing, right? As far as you know, debates a lot of he's really good. He's right. He wrecks these guys up. All the and then they battle later on. I can't believe he said this. Well, it's not what he said. Okay, he said that, and he's right. But it's the way he said it. He's wrong. It's the way he said it. Just don't do so. It doesn't matter how he would have said it. They found an illogical reason to invalidate his argument, right? They never address the argument. That's good if you look up There's a pretty good video of him and Tim Pool interacting where they're talking about whether rights exist and force doctrine, how force doctrine works to enforce our rights. Otherwise, without force, your rights don't exist because you have to have someone strong enough, right, to enforce the law to say you have these rights, right? Rights are entitlement absolutely. You're entitled to the right to bear arms, but duty bound to own a firearm, right? So entitlement absent duty or obligation. Entitlement absent the obligation to do whatever the entitlement is. Whoops. Now the blood orbs over here. Oh, gotta turn this thing out of my headset a little. So I'm not hearing what Andrew's saying. These arms. There's another guy going listen as well. His name is Jim Bob. His channel's called Made by Jim Bob. I mean, he's a pretty good debater. He does debates as well. I watch more for the entertainment value of the show. He's just funny. He does tons of skits. Tons of skits. But he does have really good sound arguments.
Falsely smearing white Americans as the most serious national security. Pause just real fast. It's just funny to me the way he's saying it.
And really, like, so it is cool that Andrew is on because a lot of the arguments, the use of logic and debate arguments he uses to explain why something, he's illogical are Andrew's arguments. They're Andrew's arguments, like force doctrine and a lot of others. Because Andrew doesn't just debate. His main thing, main gig is political commentary, right? Why is this politically expedient view? Why is it not? Is this politically moral? Why is it ought to do this certain thing, right? This isn't is, it's just something that is, and it ought, right? The sky is blue, it just is. It's not the sky ought to be blue, it just, so you ought to behave a certain way. The sky is blue, you ought to behave properly. You ought to defend the women. Men ought to defend women and take them out. Those are oughts and duties. Ought. It's an ought. Should not. You ought not murder them, right? There's that.
Damn, too many beans.
Then I think she's a piece of conjecture. Long story short, she married and consummated with her brother. Congresswoman Ilhan Omar's second husband was, in fact, her brother, Abdi Hakim Osman, a member of the Somali community.
I know it's like there's a thing is on that marriage is consummated, but
Married, so until the marriage certificate was unclear.
They'll be giving the daughter
just awesome exposure for Andrew. Oh, and Andrew, like his channel, The Crucible. Check it out. Once or twice a week, he does this thing called TikTok Invasion. Oh, let's listen to the show.
There's no
Talk
more to it. There's no choose your own path where you're like, oh, there's a path where she doesn't have sex with her brother. It always goes back.
What do I need to be doing?
Sex with
Oh,
brother.
he's
Right. Well, they take that to extremes for sure.
His co-host is still like he's Mexican, but he's all dressed like a vato.
But not in her native tongue of Somalian, which, by the way, has no business being real language. Here's her speaking to a crowd.
How do you say ancestor Somalian?
Yeah, it's a good accent. Yeah, exactly. Here is her at an advancing justice, empowering Valley Muslims, which just seems so niche. Like, oh, what about the Hill Muslims? No, just
Maybe it's
Valley,
this way.
just Valley.
There it is.
Here she made a quip
Where
about
we're
9/11.
going.
Hair was
It's
founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something and
Some
that
people
all
did
of us are
something.
starting to lose access to our civil
3,000 dead people.
Thunderbender in Tiananmen Square. It's humans. Yeah, it was human exclusively.
People did some things and then some bodies were hanging from a bridge.
That's
from my
Oh, wow. Right. Not to mention the heads on turtles.
Is marrying your brother a civil liberty?
That's a good question. I think
First Amendment there.
yes. Right to marry your brother. Yeah. It's right. It's not being French. Yes, I believe so. Yeah. I think it says it somewhere near the back. And also somewhere in the Bible, maybe Revelation, something like that. Behold, a pale brother. So, she's trying to cover for herself. She said, as a Muslim, not only was I suffering as an American, was attacked on that day, but the next day I woke up as my fellow Americans were now treating me as suspect. Yes. Counterpoint. They might have suspected you because you are, in fact, a piece of shit. Next reason.
People are always treating me like a suspect.
Yeah, well, that's because you're often in a lineup. It's true. So, on a trip to Mogadishu, Omar told her fellow Somalis, which I don't even know if they consider them fellow Somalis. But let's be honest, in Somalia, it's pretty much every pirate for himself.
Every pirate for himself.
She told them that she wanted to move back.
oo Congress-ka Mareykanka ku
Told
jirto.
him that's doable.
Laakiin waxaan ahay gabar Soomaaliyeed, idinku jinsi ah, gabar idinku af ah, gabar idinku diin ah, oo hadde qof iyadoo da'yar wadankeedii laga kaxeeyey weli xiise u qabto in maalin wadankeedii ay ku noolaato oo dadkeedii wax ay la wadaagto. Marka alxamdulillah.
She's the first person ever want to go back. That's why they're clapping.
Anyways, the TikTok invasion. He said. He goes on TikTok to the open debate panels on TikTok and debates these people.
No one's taken from Somalia.
And like all they have are logical fallacies and propaganda, you know, really fallacious arguments all the way around, right? And he'll get like 3 sentences into an argument, and they'll realize they're about to get smoked. And they'll just ban him. They'll just straight ban him, or they'll constantly mute him when he's making a point, right? Or he started hey, let's go this way.
Stopping you from going back. We're trying to stop you from doing is subverting
Right?
your
He's when he starts putting something in an argument form in his syllogism, premise 1, premise 2, conclusion, proper argument form. You can understand exactly what his position is. They'll just mute him. Uses a lot of oh, my brain is so tight.
I assume it's bad. Here's another one. Here is Ilana again. She's supposed to represent you. She's speaking about a college class, and she made fun of the way that her professor was uneasy when he discussed. Here's the thing. similar to the maintain their positions, like not all Muslims are terrorists, but then they get mad if someone sort of through body language admonishes Hezbollah. She has a problem with that too. By the way, pause. That is not real garb. That's okay. She stopped at West Elm. I think she's faking.
By the way, you should probably never start an interview with when I was in college. I took a terrorism class.
Yeah. Girlfriend. She got a D for bomb essay.
Terrorism 101. Step 1, Chief Public Office. Step 2,
And so it was the thing that was interesting in the class was like the professor said
He indicated that they were terrorists. Oh, I got freaking schmackaroonie. I wonder if I ever repair.
Right, yeah. Well,
I did get killed a few times on that one last little run.
In our country's charter. Yeah, I think that would be a big one. So again, I say Hezbollah, Al Qaeda, and Ilhan Omar, all major pieces of shit. Yeah.
Apparently, I did not.
A terrorist organization's name carry weight.
I know.
Andrew.
That's insane. Why would you want that? It's almost like we want to punctuate our sentence. Say, by the way, they're terrorists. We all understand this, right? It's like, why do you have to raise your shoulders? Well, they are. That's right. I get it. Introductory college course. So, here's another reason for you. Last week, she was traveling to El Salvador with fellow Democrats, to protest the deportation of MS-13 gang members. That's always fun. She gave this wonderful, cheerful reply to a reporter asking her question.
Well, it is now.
I'm sorry, what? Congresswoman? Who should?
Fuck off.
Why me?
We're not taking any
Yeah, you should make like her brother. Also, this is the reason we're not going to in any Islamic country. And by the way,
Yeah, there was a debate last night. I was listening to this debate, discussion, or whatever.
represent us in government and try to establish their religious courts. We're the only
Grid one more sports. Yeah, Unconditional Man. I'll have to look it up later. But yeah. The proposed town in Texas that's just like straight up Islamic. Yeah, no, I don't even like. Yes, I understand. For Americans. But it's an entire town. You're buying all the land, planning an entire town, getting the Texas government to fund it. Federal, state funds to fund the town. Yeah, no, that's not cool. Like, I don't think any other religions are getting that free government money to build a town where Catholics and Mormons only, right? They have to do that with their own money.
I'm at the point where it's become really hard to have an intellectual debate with these people because the level of stupidity that they are displaying every single day is frankly embarrassing, not just Congress, but as Americans.
Could you demonstrate that, please? Give us some examples of this rampant stupidity you speak of. That's like, you know, if your IQ is below 80, they will not accept you into the military in America, right? You're too dumb to stand for them and get shot at. Like, I understand there's way more to the military than that, but the military considers you, if you have an IQ of 80, so stupid as to not be of any use to them practically, right?
That's probably a major contributing factor.
Yeah. Hey, and she gave that to the principal, fool. Yeah.
One could argue, right?
Yes, the inbreeding, yes.
The inbreeding.
Here's another one.
Maybe.
Some would say that's bad enough.
Yeah, I'd say.
She also next Washington, D.C. will consultant. And again, here's from the New York Post. The cheating spouse told her he was having an affair with the Minnesota pirate woman, then made a shocking declaration of love before he ditched his current. It's pretty bad, but again, she did in fact marry her.
Came in here, married a brother or something, and came in a minute.
Not even or something. What a massive, festering pile of heated shit. All right, stick around.
Not all cultures are the same.
I can smell the last one.
Yes,
It was bad.
If you think your mouth open, you can like taste it. That's just terrible.
Oh!
Show up like at a party and then you know, maybe you have too much to drink or maybe you're in a mood and you start making other people uncomfortable.
Every day is it?
Every
The
day.
thing to do is leave. Yeah, that's the adult thing to do. If you are somewhere where you are not wanted, you should leave. So Monday, the administration announced that they would actually offer $1,000 in plane tickets to illegals if they
That looks
self-deported.
warm. I
And
can fix it.
my favorite member of this administration, Tom Homan, made the case to reporters yesterday.
Rare to have something so fine.
Intelligence. Sure, that's not what it's supposed to hit. Probably supposed to hit
Take advantage of legal programs come
armor. Oh,
process.
and max life.
Mandatory bonds
Yeah.
get you up to 20 years. Sometimes forever. So, you know, if you want to take advantage, come back as a, worker, a tourist visa, a visitor visa, a student visa.
You name it. Use it well.
Dodge. Yeah, and I can't level this up any higher until it's ancient. Until I get an ancient pair of boots,
Ruin all
which
that work.
I've not gotten an ancient pair of boots yet.
The floor is ready for whatever you
You're
need.
not welcome back because these people have been doing
Potent
it in
blood,
some cases
exposed
for
flesh,
decades.
neither what I'm
Certainly here.
using.
Saying, if you want a chance,
Alright.
if you want another chance at the apple, you better go come back
we
legally,
can
drawing
put
the
that shit
parallel,
away.
pointing out people who've done it legally. If you stay and you don't, your chances go to zero. That really does back these folks into a corner where they can choose to do the right thing. Continue living.
It was an option. Yeah, it was an option we didn't have to give them either. Right. And it's also cheaper to be able to do that, to give them a flight, give them $1,000 and say, look, you can go if you have children.
Unconventional man. That's, yeah, go look up the unconventional man. Grid 1 Motorsports is his handle. Channel's unconventional man. Really good. Another guy, his channel's Norms America. He's a pretty good guy to listen to as well. Does debates, does political discussion.
Thankfully, PBS has sent out their talent.
Yeah.
You don't think it's better to just thing from the taxpayer, accept that right out?
Oh, I definitely think that.
And then lock the key. You can still lock the key, right? You can still say we reported you, and you don't get to come back in. I like that idea even better. Give them nothing.
Give them nothing.
Okay, so there you go. This is fair. At this point, this grace doesn't need to be extended. It is. At crunch numbers, I think it costs about $17,000. But it does give them comfort. It gives them a stronger case to make that you can't come back if you didn't report. Because they're going to get reported anyway. Not only are they going to get started up until
Just give checks that don't cash.
Yeah. Give fake checks. That's great. Gift card.
That sounds like you're not doing the math correctly. Hey. This brings us to an important macro discussion, okay? And I think that you kind of get me. And there's a lot of gimmickry that goes on. We're going to push back against the left. And so you have people not only talking past each other, but not even attempting to have a genuine say, hey, immigration has nothing to do with race or nationality. Most people understand immigrants in this country, but immigration of yours is not the same as immigration today. And a significant component to that is race and nationality. Comment below if you think I'm out of line before you allow me to make my case, because the left
Let's
tries
hear your
to use
case.
this as a jumping off point. Hey,
we are a nation of immigrants.
The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants.
We are all citizens. America is made stronger by the presence of immigrants, not walls.
Immigration has always been essential to America.
The American people, we're all immigrants. We must acknowledge we are a nation of immigrants. We are a country of immigrants.
I mean, you could have said that 100 years ago. Well, but after the first 100 years, that's like 3 generations, 4 generations, that are all, native, born here, that's no longer immigrants.
Opportunity, but you risk it. You're risking it all yourself. Today, they come here with the promise of everything. We came here to risk.
Come on.
The longest time we shared things in common. Similar languages, religion, technological innovation, rule of law, and respect for it, history to some degree, cultural, social norms. We don't have any of those things in common with many groups of immigrants in this country right now.
Not all cultures are the same.
It's time for a little then and now.
And that's what you're trying to say is that they're exactly like exactly these people, the people coming here from there are exactly like you. They believe exactly all the same Western ideals that you believe, and that's not true. That's not the way it is. Right? There is still slavery in huge parts of the world, man. Straight up slavery. They have no issue with it. Oh, I seen that coming too. I seen it. I tried to dash through it, but I failed. I failed to dash.
Can we stop acting like they were from different planets? It was even remotely comparable to what we are dealing with today. Let me give you an example, okay, right now. And I was supposed to get into this later.
Right. The idea of women's rights is not a thing in 90% of the world. Right? Like, rape isn't considered horribly bad in 60% of the world.
Into society is required for it to function. Absolutely not. They share none of those things in common, so let's turn them and send them to another nation, the United States, where they also don't have those things in common. You see the difference? These previous generations, they of course were seeking to take part in American identity.
Yep. It came with my grandparents were from Germany. My great-grandparents on my dad's side, on my stepdad's side, were from Ireland and England, right? All those people, when they first came here, yes, they did go to communities where they were more Irish or more German or English or whatever, but they acclimated to America and made it a priority that their children learn English, that they learned English, that they got jobs, and they were, right?
I bet on the wrong horse. Grubbles. Now, this brings us to now, compared to difference of before. Yeah, man, this was pointing out this is all by design. Right? Rather than mosaic, cultural. So today's immigrants, unbelievably varied origins, meaning we can't
Prodigy aspect has been unlocked.
possibly be our greatest strength. Africa, South America, the Middle East,
Grab that.
Asia. What do those people share in common between their own nations, let alone ours? And they're all coming in at once? And by the way, multiculturalism, the religion of the left today, demands that their culture be preserved, as seen in the previous segment on Ilhan Omar saying that Somalia is a great place, even though people are starving, have room temperature at best IQs, and many of them marry their brothers. Hey, how about abandoning that and appreciating the country that gave you this opportunity? To say that people coming from the Middle East, from Asia, from, let's say someone coming from, I don't know, El Salvador, someone coming from Syria, and someone coming from China.
You have to run quite a few to get the last of those. You know, these
and a German coming here in the 1920s. You're being intellectually dishonest. Now, you can argue it has nothing to do with race. I'm not saying it's melanin in the skin. I am saying, however, it does have to do with nationality. Now, of course, if I take you at your word, leftists, it would be race. La raza, you say it's race. I'm not saying it's race. I'm saying there's nothing in common and a society can't work. Let's go back to then. This is something very interesting. I asked research to see if there were numbers on this, and we found them. So immigrants before, post-1980s,
don't like the
very different
poison.
mindset. They were better. What do I mean by that? Superior. Better people. Better citizens. Pre-1980, their proficiency in English was almost double what we see today. So if they were a high school grad, 58%. If they didn't even finish high school, they were still 21% is the number you're looking at as far as who was proficient in English. Back then, everyone wanted to learn it.
Right.
Today, this brings us to now. We went 58% of high school graduates who spoke English as immigrants. Today, that number's 25. We went 21%, those who didn't have a high school degree. Now that's 8%. How do we have fewer immigrants today when America is more prosperous than ever, learning the language? That's a proactive sign, a signal of a lack of respect and appreciation. Why? Because they should respect and appreciate this nation.
The assimilation is part of the problem. You said it's something disconcerting. You're nothing to do with the culture at all, and just kind of formed out.
Yeah, well, they don't need to, right? That's the key thing. They have such an overwhelming demographic of Spanish speakers. But instead of they have, if they're in an area where everybody speaks Spanish to actually learn the language, they don't have any. Right? And so they end up having small micro-nations inside the nation.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. That's the multicultural experiment. And if you look at the United States, the reason we have to import so many immigrants is we can't sustain our own nation. And so now what's happening?
People ain't having kids. It's people they fucking, but they ain't having kids. Right? Getting abortion. Something like 60% adult men of age, right, have not had sex. 60% of men who are, I feel uncomfortable in my own house. That's wrecking me.
You'll get there. And that's a good point too, Andrew. We used to have a word for those places. They're called ghettos.
Yeah.
They ghettoize places. And you have that, by the way, in certain areas, for example, Indian areas. Yes.
The body of
of humanities to keep your GDP high, rather than incentives to sustain your population, right, which is declining so quickly, then it's for a place like South Korea, it's going to be extinction, right?
Yep.
The United States is right on top of that. So, the immigration crisis is way worse than people think.
This is again, it's been an anti-humanist agenda that's been pushed. I'm not saying a truck stop. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you can purchase it at a truck stop. That's where I get all my rubber sheets. Rubbers. Condoms are for losers. Now, it's true. With the advent of birth control, sexual liberation, and then an anti-humanist agenda here, because population is
anti-natalist. Like anytime you hear somebody bitching, oh, babies are gross, they're sick, you're so much of your time, blah, 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 blah. That's called anti-natalist, right? Anti-natalist. I don't get, like, in my head, I'm just like, all these arguments, life and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, like, I mean, a small might, but not giving birth to more people out there, right? There won't be enough people to fix cars. There won't be enough people to keep the electricity on. All the stuff, the cell phones, all the stuff. There won't be enough people to drive all the food for food together. There won't be enough people to grow all the food for all the food together, right? And it happens quickly, right? Just a couple generations. Just a couple, 3 generations. Now, your country, your area not giving birth to enough. So all of a sudden it's just, you know. And if you're bringing a bunch of immigrants in to bolster the numbers you need for jobs and whatnot, yeah, like 1/3 of the people in India completely, totally acceptable to just squat and dump wherever you're at. Wherever you're at. Look it out. A third. 0. Right here we have issues with that in some areas of America, in some cities. But it's not, you're talking about drug addicts, not just people in general. They just totally okay, just where they're at. Yeah, totally different. Totally different.
Goes out the window. We have a starting place. There's no place for the dialogue to even be. The set piece is so, it's so gone. Secularists also have the same problem. You think secularists agree? They don't agree on anything. They have so many different schools. Anti-humanist,
anti-atheist. Yep.
Secularists. What's the green foundation? They don't have them.
Yeah, it's the preferences. I prefer using it. I just prefer it like, why? Because we do, that's just how we feel.
Gay marriage where they can adopt, like, what's the secular argument against that? There isn't one. Yeah. But if you go to any Christian denomination, right, they're at least gonna have some kind of base, unless you get like some of the crazies, like maybe the Mormons, you're gonna have some kind of like institutional level.
Like cheap.
It was
That's right, Chico.
He's very big in Chico.
Going back to the point that you made, it also has a huge effect on self-governance. For example, someone who believes, and you can say flying spaghetti monster, okay, fine, but someone who believes that there's an ultimate authority and that you are judged for what you do, and there is a judgment that exists autonomously from you. There's a concept of heaven and hell, justice of punishment, right? That's very different from someone who believes, well, I create my own nirvana, I create my own hell, as you see with some Eastern religions and Hinduism. This is what you see a lot. There's a reason. Look, this is not to single out India, but I'm going to for a second. They clear out they come from one of two nations. Here's Pakistan, Bangladesh, okay? But largely India. How do you get that as a business model exclusively from one nation? Yes. If you believe the only consequences are how you feel. Like when you're not in nirvana and you stole from an old person and you have a full bank account and you feel okay, you're okay. That just matters. Yes.
You're okay.
It's like variance, which is great. It's variance. So if questions have
and that's why it's okay for them to, grab a titty in the club.
Without you.
They're gonna steal from our lady.
big, is it?
Come
on, you gotta be smart about it. Put it in your mattress or in your walls. I learned that from the Pastor Jolos.
Yes, he does. He's a big ball banker. Let's go back to them. Okay, beyond just the religion. Immigrants had common values. They had values that balance the value of individualism and the collective. Meaning, okay, we value individual freedoms to varying degrees. But we also understand that as a society, we have that nationality. Let's have an honest conversation. There is such a broad spectrum of values. It's broader than the spectrum of retards. It's endless. There are countless retards, infinite retards, and infinite values. And a lot of these values are completely, objectively incompatible with Western values that we here do in the United States.
You say
roaming their streets. Residents of Port-au-Prince took justice into their own hands Tuesday.
Much for the tires.
How much for the tires? Oh, live in that oh, street food is just, oh. Yeah. Go over to Rumble later. Check this out. Louder with Crowder. Like the first hour of the show is free to watch. Like, they still stream for another hour. It's like the first hour, like 2 hours, 3 hours free. Watch for an episode. You can watch, if you don't watch the first hour live, you have to wait till the second hour is done to watch. Go back and watch the first hour.
Insane floating water world called Makoko.
Welcome to Africa.
The largest floating slope in Nigeria and the Venice of Africa.
Just go straight down.
One of your people, bro.
I don't recognize him.
Okay.
This cop right there, he's like, that's fine.
It's another Tuesday.
Hey, get down, lady.
And we are going to continue, by the way, it's the Crucible on YouTube. I know you had a point, I want to get to it. We're going to continue this on Rumble Premium. Crucible on YouTube. Andrew Wilson, he'll be here for an Ash Wednesday tomorrow.
The Crucible.
Before we go, if you're not a Rumble Premium member, you'll continue with us. You can say, oh, we cherry-picked some videos. I know that you're just grasping at straws here. Here's something irrefutable. We have not cherry-picked the data that these nations are so awful. People are attempting to leave in record numbers. So we can't be cherry-picking it to the point that you also advocate open borders so that we have tens of millions of people who are banging on the door to get in. That they're granted.
Kicked out of my own.
That is something we can't get. That's when we have to start solving the problem.
Get
Rumble
kicked
Premium,
out of my
let's
own local
continue.
party.
Toolman and go.
It's like a fan or something. What's going on? I'll listen to this for like 20 seconds. Okay. Let's throw this in here to look at later. Let's see. I'll just go look and see. It has at least 2 of the stats I need.
Founders saying with the net out-migration
Cooldown
from
reduction
states,
intelligence
even if Kamala Harris were to
live.
have won Pennsylvania and Michigan, Trump still would have won the election. Because the
Oh, I
electoral
still need...
vote count swing towards red states after 2030
Oh, I can
will
roll.
be massive.
Shit. I just roll it on this one.
Have non-citizens to bolster their population number, because don't forget,
Yeah, I just need to roll cooldown reduction on this. Like it's supposed to be the one that's been hit a couple of times when you master work. So maybe I'll redo the master work later. Try and hit it at least once or twice.
The will of the American people, but that's their game plan. The American people
But that's the one I'm wearing.
That's
And the other one, there's nothing. There's not a single one of those I need.
We're going to break this down. I believe we'll be joined by Ryan Gerdusky about a half an hour to go through all of the Democrats' current positioning, their polling, and why they're in disarray. So we'll talk a bit about that. Before we do, my friends, shout out to the Mug Club and Steven Crowder for shouting us out. This is the Rumble Noon Live.
Oh, no.
I'm your host, Tim. You can follow me on X and Instagram at TimCast.
This guy, right here, this guy.
To all of you who watch. This show has consistently hit the top 10 biggest live shows in the country. And I will also stress, Steven Crowder is the number one biggest stream in the country on average. Sometimes people will launch a stream and they might do better for a special event, but consistently and typically, Crowder takes that cake. So shout out to Steven Crowder and the Mug Club. Don't forget to head over to castbrew.com and pick up some delicious Cast Brew coffee. We are, I'm surprised we still have some of this Alex Stein's Primetime Grind left.
Sure, it's on here. It's probably a big list.
So I suggest picking it up.
Reduction.
It's going to be gone forever.
Down. It's in the
use promo code RUMBLE10
bottom
and get 10% off of your order at castbrew.com. Don't forget to smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know, and let's jump into that story from the Washington Times. Judge orders Trump to admit roughly 12,000, I'm going to do air quotes for this one, refugees. They're not refugees and we know it. Some of them maybe sometimes, but I believe what? Over 90% of the people that claim they're refugees come to this country are lying to exploit our laws and to cause us some damage. But I want to say this as we get started. Something I want y'all to consider in the very beginning of the segment as we move forward.
Oof, I have the feeling this is going to be expensive.
69
get its roll cooldown reduction. Because it's way deep in the list. There it is. Boom. Oh my god.
Ever-growing population. That ain't possible. And right now, with population
well,
absolute,
that's not bad.
Serious.
That's not bad, really.
Deportations at a time.
There we go. There's that piece.
I
mean, that's good enough for me.
1 million manufacturing jobs.
It's like
where are those people going to come from?
the star is supposed to be on the cooldown reduction, but whatever. I'm good. I'm happy. It's not that big a deal.
It's interesting. Let's start here.
Alright,
that looks warm. I can
the Trump
fix
administration to admit some 12,000 refugees into the U.S. under a court order, partially blocking the president's efforts to suspend the nation's
run a few more
program.
the night.
The order from U.S. District Judge Jamal Whitehead followed arguments from the DOJ and refugee resettlement agencies over how to interpret a federal appeals court ruling that significantly narrowed an earlier decision from Whitehead. During a hearing last week, the administration said it should only have to process 160 refugees into the country, and that it would
You're running a lot of those trying to get our mythics.
But the judge dismissed the government's analysis, saying it required not just reading between the lines of the Ninth Circuit's ruling, but hallucinating new text that simply is not there. I'll give a big shout out to our Democrat friends. If this is the game you want to play it, baby, because I'm really hoping that come the midterms in 2026, Republicans take more seats. So if the news is thus, Donald Trump is doing everything in his power to expedite the deportation of criminal gangs, narco gangs, terrorist elements, and illegal immigrants in general. And the Democrats are doing everything in their power to protect these people.
Do I not have that
Time
open?
for the midterms, it's going to be a rough day. Because this is the one issue, as I've said a million times already, where Donald Trump is dominating in the polls. The American people
there it is,
want
right
the
there. There we go.
deportations.
Yeah.
Quote,
I don't think I've actually even done this. You need 12 of those to open the thing, so I'm not even going to bother until I have like 12 of those.
The government is free, of course, to seek further clarification from the Ninth Circuit.
Oh, that's where you get your important heart.
And the direct orders of this
to open this guy's
while it
chest.
seeks clarification. refugee program, created by Congress in 1980, is a form of legal migration to the U.S. for people displaced by war, natural disaster, persecution, a process that often takes years and involves significant vetting. It is different from asylum, by which people newly arrived in the U.S. can seek permanent
Sometimes
permission
found Tree
to
Whispers,
remain because they fear
World
persecution
Bosses,
in their home country.
Mercenary
Upon
Bartering.
beginning his second term on January 20th,
Another reason to force people to do. Oh, I just missed the World Boss too.
triggered a lawsuit by individual refugees
Shit.
whose efforts to resettle in the U.S. have
Shit.
been halted, as well as major refugee aid groups who argue that they
I'll
had
try and
to lay
catch the
off
next
staff.
one.
The group said the administration froze their funding for processing refugee applications overseas and providing support, such as short-term rental assistance for those already in the U.S. Whitehead, a 2023 appointee of former President Joe Biden, not surprised, blocked enforcement of Trump's order, saying it amounted to an effective nullification of congressional
Let's keep working on master weapon supplies. Need lots and lots of those, so we'll be running nightmares for days. You know, I'm getting freaking bored with them already.
Give the president's broad authority to determine who is allowed to enter the country. But the appeals court also said the government should continue processing those who had already been approved for travel to the U.S., some of whom had upended their lives abroad by selling property or quitting their jobs. I'm just going to take a quick little pause and say, I don't care. I don't care what your circumstances are. I don't care about you. I don't care about your economy. I don't care about your persecution. I'm sorry. I am not going to pretend to care about the problems other people are facing and we in the United States are facing.
And you're told to do that. Suicidal care so much about other people, their concerns in other countries, that it creates negativity for you and yours in your country. Right? Suicidal empathy.
You have similar adverse problems. It's okay, we'll go somewhere else. I am not going to play this game where, oh no, the child is crying, quick, burn the Constitution. I'm not playing that game. Just because your circumstances are bad doesn't mean we have to foot the bill. Plain and simple. You know, they say when an airplane, make sure you secure your own oxygen mask before securing the mask of the person sitting next to you. So we as a nation decide the country's full, and we vote for mass deportation. That is what we should get. You don't get to just have these judges reverse the will of an election. Let's consider for a moment.
Yep.
Will ultimately be if the system by which the founding fathers created is that we have a means to elect our representatives. But people in government can create circumstances
Gosh darn it.
and the executive branch by which, even if you vote it changes nothing, then the system is fried. It's broken. Let's try that again. Do you believe the founding fathers intended us to vote for representatives to then get in office and say, previous administration has tied my hands, I can make no changes? No. The point was, the elections could change the system. People solve problems. Right now, we are largely dealing with an untenable situation. Take a look at this story from the Post-Millennium. Venezuelan officials facilitate TDA members' migration to the U.S. to destabilize governments and undermine public safety. IC report. Yeah, we assume this to be the case. Venezuela's got prisons in a very high rate. And so what do they do?
Hey, send them here. Oh, they'll put them in prison in America.
TVA took over complexes in Colorado. The media lied and claimed it wasn't happening, despite the fact a year prior.
Oh, it's only a couple apartment buildings. A couple apartment buildings in America taken by a terrorist gang in Venezuela. How do you, like, how does that sentence come out of your mouth and you think, oh, it's okay.
This is your outlet 1 year ago, reporting that it was true. And you're now claiming it's not true. Why? Because because Trump said it. These people are insane. They're unhinged. So we elected Donald Trump and the Republican Congress and Senate because we want to see action. Now, I will point out, I largely bring the fault to the Republican Senate and Congress for doing nothing.
Yep.
They've got a majority right now. They can pass stuff. They can end the filibuster. They don't want to. If we end the filibuster, they'll use it against us. I don't care.
They will, and I don't like that idea. And the filibuster is bad. Bad. Very, very bad.
They will end the filibuster, and they will ram through everything they can the moment they take power. If Trump and the Republicans do not win in the midterms, and the Democrats get a simple majority in the Senate and in Congress, I don't know if they can win the Senate. We'll see. Yeah, they're going to pack the Supreme Court. They're going to start taking on
Yeah, there's a bunch of people watching and listening to Democrats. But they're not becoming Republicans, right? They're saying, I am an independent now. Which is just their way to say, okay, we don't agree with this shit that the extreme side of our party is saying.
Amazing. They're going to pack the court. They're going to have 4 seats. They're going to say there's 13 circuits, 9 judges, so there should be 13 judges. Dems the rules. I agree. Trump, pack the court right now. Trump and the Republicans should say, we're going to add new judges for each circuit. Because you know what? You've got some judges that have multiple circuits because, like I said, there are 9 judges and 14 circuits. That was the Democrats' argument at the time. They're going to win the midterms. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying if they win the midterms, they will pack the court.
This is a risk move. Even if you agree with this idea and you go with it, it's still risky. Because the entirety of the American judicial system, our lawyers, our law schools have been thoroughly overrun with marketing. Right? So it's really hard to get a lawyer in there who doesn't think some aspect. Right? The fundamental philosophy behind race theory, equality theory, well, whatever the call it is, right? The blurring the lines, less accessible as society.
The lies, the manipulation of the Democrats and the left, they want to cheat, they want power. Their vision for this country is the end of this country. I like America. I like the 4th of July. I like baseball. I like hot dogs on the grill, cheeseburgers. Man, I grew up, you grew up, we remember it. You know what they're going to do? They're fracturing the culture so that Gen Z and Gen Alpha grow up in a society and they will remember.
With no traditions. No traditions. Another first.
Sorry, I know something about they want to rip our culture to shreds, set it on fire, and then piss it out. Okay? But the Republicans have been so cringe how they've gone about countering these cultural wars on the left. You do not. And they value by reacting to it. Read the article.
you
go out
give
and
them a
scream at
bunch
them
of
and yell
footballs.
that they're waging war on football? Or would you come out and say, hey guys, bring your pogo sticks, let's play quick game of football. Now come out, bring the boys, you guys go pogo stick afterwards. Culture and community around the ideas you want to propagate. These kids are going to be like, okay, you'll play a little bit. Pogo sticks down. I got no beef with pogo sticks. My point is, the right has long engaged in the culture war by simply wagging the finger and insulting the left. That is why I have been screaming, build culture, make music, make movies.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. The right does not make enough movies. They don't make enough music. It's okay. We're getting really good at owning the discussion topic. We have far more people. The people are listening to you, right? We're winning the debates. But are we building the culture we want in society? Are we, it's not just do as I say, it's do as I do. Talk about this is what to be, and then behave in that fashion on top of it. Right? The idea that there's this absurd idea of Christian nationalism is going to come into power, and they're gonna create a Christian dictatorship. No, that's a fake propaganda argument. Shock and awe, right? Accuse the opposition of what you're doing, right? The right always ends in dictatorship, always, every time. It ends in dictatorship. So they're accusing us of it because it's what they want. I mean, it's the only way you can get people to live by the laws of the right consistently forever. All right. Take all the money from the people you don't like, that you're jealous from. Pretty soon, nobody's making money, everybody's broke, and they disavow that entire way of living after a while, right? They just quit it. Right? It doesn't work. So you have to enforce it with violence. Right? Because people don't want to do it. They just don't want that. Don't want to live in the pod and eat the bugs and pretend to be happy.
How can I help?
Now they're going to be trying extra hard to get in, but with the border being secure,
got one more.
I think we'll be all right.
Use it well.
There's a big piece of the story that I think we need to talk about, and that is on Fox a moment ago, Micro was talking about 1.4 million manufacturing jobs coming to the United States based on Trump's tariffs. Factories are going to have to open in the U.S. to be able to bring in cheaper goods. It's an opportunity for competition. We don't have enough people. I think he mentioned, I could be wrong, but something around like there's 480,000 people unemployed. No, it's got to be way more than that. Let's get the
not realized I had that.
Number of unemployed people in the U.S. Let's get the actual number, because I'm way wrong. 6.86 million right now.
That is too expensive.
Million jobs. The important thing to understand is we actually need a certain degree of unemployment. It's not that I'm saying we want to rid of jobs, it's that people need to be between jobs.
That's more boom boom for my buck on those.
And workers can compete. You don't want, if there's no unemployment, that companies are going to be like, we have a bunch of job openings and nobody.
The grind is real.
The bigger concern I have is, will we have the population for an expanding marketplace? Secretary of Commerce says the new model is factory jobs for life for you, your kids, and your grandkids. Saying you can make $90,000 a year with a high school diploma. Now the left is insulting this. They're posting memes of many people working in factories as if that's the worst job you could ever have. They have disdain for the American working class. They get paid.
Well, it's not those were AI images. Like the Chinese government and Chinese propagandists made all these AI little clips and pictures of fat Americans making tennis shoes and shit in factories. Like, oh, this is what's gonna happen. You're gonna bring all these you guys are gonna be doing this. You guys are gonna be sewing shoes together in sweatshops here in China right now, because this is the only way it can be done now. That production comes to America and it gets automated. It won't be done. It'll be automated. It'll end up being cheaper even still. Automated. And all the jobs at that business are high-paying mechanics. Keep all that automated. All those computer programs for all that automated equipment running and operating properly. Right? High-paying construction job. Build the factory. High-paying, like, and believe it or not, delivery job. Drive the semi. It's a very lucrative job. Like right now, the government kind of tested the average driver though when they deregulated it, right? They, there's a bunch of stuff competing. What the hell? You can't just flood one economic bracket. It will create chaos. People who come here will start committing crimes, and it'll get worse. But maybe that was the point. To rip it all to shreds. This is an article from Aeon, Vanishing of Labor, where he talks to this guy, he's an Indian in Boston University, talking about how his grandparents in India had 10 kids. He says, over the course of 3 generations, my family fertility rate plummeted from 10 to less than 1. During the same period, his population exploded from 350 million to 1. India's struggling case, etc. But he says the global population is still growing now, and demographers are projecting that these numbers will peak near the end of the century, before beginning steep decline. He will only to point out. Others certainly saying, quote, fear not, Earth's population is growing. Maybe. The population of developed nations is declining. That's the fear. Certainly in Africa, all the places that know how to do all the things at a high technical level are disappearing.
Maintain transportation, the internet, satellites? No. You need high-skilled labor from developed nations. You cannot take a family from a developing nation, drop them in the US and say, build a spaceship. It'll work. They didn't grow around, they didn't get the education for that. But don't get me wrong, there is a small percentage of highly skilled individuals in every country, to varying degrees. There are wealthy Nigerians who migrate to the US and they make 6 figures. They do very well. But we're talking about the prelim crop, the best of those countries, legally migrating here with money. Of course they'll succeed. They were already succeeding. You open the floodgates, this is what happens. Now, I'm going to wrap it up there for this part of the show. Smash that like button. Share the show with everybody you know. For those that are still watching live, of course, we have an interview coming up. And everybody else, stay tuned. More segments to come. We'll be back throughout the day. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all soon. For everybody else, we'll jump into this next story. This one's fascinating. Trump's falling in the polls. Why aren't Democrats benefiting? I absolutely love this. Despite the fact
because he's not really falling in the polls. It's how the people, it's the methodology behind the people running the polls, checking popularity. The way in which they ask the questions is slanted to get a better than good, right, or a disapproval. It's the way they're asking the questions, and the people they're asking the questions to, right?
You know what? Democrats' favorability hits new low say I'm using an aggregate. Fox News. What's the latest Fox News they have on here?
And Fox, no matter what you're told, Fox News is owned and run by liberals, right? They're slightly more right-leaning in their propaganda.
Be joined by Ryan James Gerdusky. Let me get this pulled up, and he will talk to us about what is currently going on with the Democratic Party, and it's not been going so well. So let me see if I can get this rolled up quickly. Ryan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you.
Biggest
for
problem with
we were just talking about.
Dude, I don't think it can be stated enough how Elon Musk buying Twitter and exposing the Twitter files. It showed people just how badly they were being manipulated by social media.
Let's make them about this on my podcast called Numbers Game for Bigger Business. So check that out. There are all the details. But here's the main one. There have been about 12 polls in the last month. ABC, Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN, CBS.
What's even funnier, a lot of the articles people are reading that are wrecking Democrats the most are being put out by Democrats, by the leftists, meaning people who are saying about Doge. Is this, this thing they're saying money got spent on, is that what happened? And they're finding out, well, yeah. So like, you go to, on X, go to the Doge site on X, all the stuff they find, they post. They post all are there on X. So when news stations tell you, oh, there's no control. No, you can go right to their website on X, or to there's an actual website too, but it's probably just easier to go to X and read all the stuff Doge has found and published. Right?
Even though they don't like the tariffs and they have a lot of uncertainty about the tariffs and messaging about the tariffs, the other party has a branding problem where they just seem bad when their biggest name brands around them are the AOCs and the Bernie Sanders and the social justice warriors on social media who want to talk about trans and kids. That's just, a branding problem that they can't get away from, especially in like 100 days post the new year and 150 days post-election.
Is there anybody in the Democratic Party who is counter to the far left or the woke?
Yeah, Josh Shapiro is considered more moderate. Westmore already announced he's not running for president in 2028. That's already over. I don't really know what Gavin Newsom's doing, trying to be a podcast host and having right wingers.
Can't load that one up anymore either. Until I get an ancient one. So be running some Lord Zeers.
That looks worn. I can fix it.
Was the guy who said, hey, let's let all the criminals out of jail. So I have not seen a case where a Democratic leader has taken on his party in any substantial way on anything from the trans issue to the crime issue to the immigration issue. You have Bernie Sanders saying on an interview recently, we need to enforce the border, we need to secure the border. Yet and still voting against every single Trump border policy. You've got another congressman from southern Texas on the
say one thing, do the other. And Republicans are not immune to this either, right? For the longest time, the Republican Party was just the party of opposition, right? They were getting money to campaign. Yeah, 80-20. 80-20. Right? 80% of Americans are like, no boys and girls sports. 80% of Americans are like, no, support all the right? Take the country illegally, get rid of it. 80% of
If you're a politician, if you're a Democrat, like you're mentioning this guy in New York, is he not thinking to himself, I guess I'm 2026?
Yeah, he's hoping his local name brand will sit there and carry him through after that people aren't paying attention, and that's really what they are. Democrats are facing the same problem around the trans issue that Republicans are facing around abortion, pre-Trump's announcement, which was, hey, if we just don't talk about it, hopefully
right, and that doesn't matter now. Like, the overwhelming number of Republicans have come out pro-choice. Right? Come out pro-choice on abortion. The thing is, Democrats, when they are running for office, right, that's all they say. They say, oh, this guy wants to take abortion. This guy, he wants women who are raped to have babies. Even though they come out and say, I want abortion for rape and incest to be protected. And we want these things protected. Right? We're not going after them like that. We definitely want women to be able to get health procedures when they need health procedures, right? Tubal pregnancy, that's top of pregnancy. Which I don't even consider that an abortion, it's a non-viable pregnancy. At no point is pregnancy going to result in a child. It's a non-viable pregnancy. So, getting medical relief for that is not an abortion in any way.
Expect to actually win anything unless they actually just don't
they expect Trump's negatives to carry them through. And Trump does have high negatives in some polling in some constituencies in the country.
Yeah, the idea of medical necessity, getting an abortion as a medical necessity, save the mother, or save the baby, it is so low. Like, the only thing you could put in that, call it that, is going to be the ectopic pregnancy. Because all the other ones like that, life of the mother or life of the child situation, is so far into the pregnancy that there can be a cesarean section or they induce labor and the mother gives birth to the child and you save them both. Right? I'm not going to do this bad. It's just, it takes too much time. It's not enough. Not enough XP. At this point, as soon as I get all my master work in, I need to be running pits. Oh my God.
Trump is the whole personality. It's the entire purpose of them existing. Ron Emanuel, Obama's former chief of staff,
get out of there.
He's thinking of running for president, so he's talking about James Jordan. And he's getting absolutely mad because he's running on this other issue of like, hey, this is really great, and his podcasts, those political podcasts, are ripping him to shreds. Because that's really where the party is. It is a party of well-educated white women, black women, and, the alphabet soup mafia and progressive nonprofits. That's who's there. That's who's there. It doesn't mean that they can't have one House seat. It doesn't mean they can't flip the House. It doesn't mean that
Trump's negatives won't matter in these, you know, in these middle of the road house districts. A great presidency for the long haul for these swing states. They have a brand they have to sit there in your shed, fully embrace and figure out some of it. There's a very, very, very short runway. 2028 is going to be the last time before a decade of survey of which Georgia is running. Carolina does. And either of those two things happen, a very hard decade ahead. One of the things I was just bringing up is this is why they're so adamant on mass migration. If the net out migration from these blue states you mentioned, the only other solution is going to be bring in as many illegal immigrants as possible so when that 2030 census happens, they can maintain some competitive numbers.
Yeah, they're congressional seats, right? Because we count the illegals as people in a state, and the number of representatives in congressional seats is dependent on your state's population. You represent in the House. So they're basically yeah, people are flaying these psycho states.
Because they have failed states, they have failed policies. Democrats cannot run states. Both legal and illegal immigrants are to those states. So
yeah, and they're basically like, I like Tim Pool and all, but at the end of the day, it's still classical liberal. Considered like Jordan Peterson and a lot of the intellectual. The intellectual right-wing they call themselves classical liberal. And classical liberalism leads to where the Democrats are. It leads with soft, with function. Right? That's the way it is. Bug out.
It's a double-edged sword, though. The one here in which we're seeing the best is immigration. American is not broken anymore. We had 11,000 of Trump's presidency, or apprehensions rather, in the first 2 months of Trump's presidency. A year ago, it was like 300,000. It's literally a 96% reduction. I mean, overnight, we didn't need any new policies, we just needed a new president. Trump was right when he said that. Even the mass deportations, even the ones that are getting huge media explosions, it hasn't moved the general public's opinion at all that immigration needs to be fixed and that we need to build fewer numbers of legal immigrants. Americans do more or less. We're going to 1 million legal here. They want about 500,000, but they want less legal immigrants, and they don't care. They say, no, you broke the law, you have to leave this country. It is your own thing. There is this proposal that Trump has.
You want to come legally.
Sweden has a policy like that that's been moderately successful. They're actually just increasing it $35,000.
Yeah, see, that now like they're holding the country's hostage. You have to pay me to leave. And then they're going to come back and try and get it again.
Migrants, if they want to leave the country and never return, they get $35,000. It's $1,000 in the U.S. right now. DHS pays $1,000. Right, Sweden has $1,000 right now.
But they're getting profit for $3,500.
Like, if you think, hey, I'm going to make less than $35,000 here, then we really don't need you. Like, I mean, that's a really good way of getting an IQ test going, where if you're like, no, I can stay here, I'll raise a small business, I'll do something really prosperous. If you're like, 35 grand, I'm not going to make that. Like, let me just take the cash and go back to, Brazil or wherever. That's a good metric for how the kinds of people we should have.
Yes, that's a point. But at still, I feel like people in the country are using countries they live in hostage.
there's sort of a terrifying realization in that Democrats know they're engaged in unpopular activities the American voter does not like, but they will gain electoral college votes just because people in the districts will vote Democrat no matter what. So they're already telling us they don't care for the democratic process.
Right, and it's also think about the unfairness of this. So most immigrants don't vote. Most illegal immigrants usually don't vote. I mean, there's a few cases, but not many. But most immigrants don't vote. So if you're in AOC's district, right, or you're in a district in Los Angeles, a very heavy immigrant district, you really only need like 90,000 votes to win, because most people who live in the district who make it up aren't voting. If you live in Ohio or New Hampshire or a state with a district that's very populated, equally populated, but has a lot more registered voters, you need 250,000 or 300,000 votes to win.
Yeah, I think I was supposed to hit that drain live a couple of times. Looks like I hit it once.
How much their vote counts for. Your vote counts a lot more in a district that's heavily immigrant, because most of the people who are representing the census, representing the district, cannot vote for or against you. That's a part of the unfairness. And if we sat there and said, hey, let's have a freeze, let's reduce numbers and let's deport illegals, maybe Texas and Florida would lose a House seat as well as New York, California.
All right, and we've been going nearly 2 hours here. So,
North Carolina, those states,
if you enjoy this non-boring grind, and my commentary on how to play these builds or build them or whatever, because again, I am just a filthy casual, right? I just kind of sort of grind. Right, it's not my everything. I'm actually surprised neither of the two boys came out and bugged me this past 2 hours for anything. So that, I need to check on them. Sure, one of them pooed by now. I usually try and make him sit on the potty once an hour. I figured, we can go 2 hours. And then I'll have him go sit on the potty and do lunch and do all that, and then maybe stream again if I have time. But if you enjoy this at all, follow me here on Twitch, get notifications when I go live, maybe come harass me, and I have not been on my chat screen also. Best views on Streamboat. Yeah, no, not doing that. I need to reload the player. There's an error with the player. All right. There's a link on my Twitch page to my YouTube page. If you would rather watch them later on YouTube, that's available. If they're only up for a week, all my videos are only up for 6-7 days here on Twitch, and then they're gone forever off Twitch because I'm not paying for any of that service. Like I said, I am the Trailer Park Trash streamer. I stream straight from the Xbox, straight to Twitch, and then I use my little itty-bitty laptop to export from Twitch to YouTube. Oh, somebody is watching. Hello there. Thank you for watching. I have 2 people watching me. Cool. But if you go to YouTube, all my videos I've ever made on Twitch are there at Darth Grumpy Dad. On YouTube, there should be a link to that page on my Twitch page. Think about subscribing, getting notifications, maybe sharing or commenting on some videos, stuff like that. For the fuck of it, why not? But have a good day. I will catch you later. That's that. Peace out, brother.